Welcome back to Play and Trade Guitars. I'm John, that's Zach behind the camera, and this is Play and Trade Guitars, where we play it and trade it. With a reimagined look at the 80s, we're checking out the brand new Gibson Victory. There's two versions of this guitar, and I'm going to tell you everything you need to know when we put it on the bench and pull it apart. Of course, we're going to plug it in and play it. But at the top, if you have not hit subscribe, we're bringing you new guitar reviews, the best on YouTube. Hit subscribe if you haven't. You'll also be in it to win it. We are giving away an American-made Martin acoustic guitar when we hit 100,000 subscribers. To win that guitar, hit subscribe now if you haven't. Turn on notifications and sign up below. Everything you need is pinned in the comments or down in the description. All right, without further ado, let's take a look at the brand new Victory from Gibson. All right, look at that beautiful finish, gold mist satin. You can click our link for all the available finish options. This version is $19.99, and it's an all mahogany, slimmer body. This was Gibson's early 80s take on a Super Strat. They also have a version of this now at $24.99 with a figured maple cap on the mahogany. This one's just straight mahogany, satin finish, ebony fretboard with 24 frets. And I will give credit, if you want a really in-depth review on the Victory series from back in the day in the 80s, you can watch Trogley's video where he breaks down both of those. It's incredibly well done, and I bring that up because the original specs of those guitars really don't have much to do with this guitar outside of the shape of the body. Everything else has basically been reimagined, with the exception of maybe the ability to go ahead and split not only these humbucker coils in these 80 tribute pickups, but also choose whether you want the inner or outer coil of that split. So it gives you actually, with just a three-way toggle, between all these, you have a huge combination of sounds that you can get out of this guitar that you'll hear when we plug it in. But let's go ahead and hit the bench. We'll get full specs before we plug it in. I actually think it looks pretty sweet. We'll find out if it's worth your money. Let's get to work. I actually find myself comparing this to the Les Paul Modern Light. I mean, when you take into account the satin finish, the contoured body here, and the thin mahogany body with these humbuckers, it's basically like a souped up Les Paul Modern Light in a way. And let's break this down, starting up at the top of the headstock. And again, pretty much every feature here is different from the original Victories that came out in the early 80s. Starting with the headstock, the original headstock was quite a character, if I can say. It was maybe somewhat resemblant of a Firebird headstock. Here they went with an Explorer headstock. I think that was a great choice. Beautiful mother of pearl Gibson. Flipping it over, you have the 6 on the side mini Grovers. And you can see that satin finish. We'll get a measurement on this neck. I believe it's SlimTaper. You have a bound ebony fretboard. And look at this piece of ebony, very beautiful, and I like these dot inlays off in the left of the board. And 24 frets, so you truly get the upper register. And being that it was basically inspired by a Super Strat from Gibson, you have full access all the way up to that 24th fret, which feels great. It is a fixed tailpiece, so I mean, you know, it's not like they added some kind of trim to give you the full 80s effect here. But I actually like the fixed tailpiece for tuning stability and my playing style anyways. These humbuckers are 80s tributes. The original were really experimental at the time. These are just more of a straightforward 80s tribute standard humbucker, but the magic comes in the switching options. So in the volume, you have a split for the coil split of the humbucker. You have a standard three-way toggle, which is simple. And then you also can choose with the tone push-pull, you can actually choose the inner or the outer coil. So in doing that, you get a lot of combinations of sounds. That was part of the original inspiration of the Victory series back in the day, and they have brought that to this new reimagined series for the Victory. And I really like that. I also like just kind of the intuitiveness and simpleness. They managed to do all that with just 2 knobs and the three-way toggle. So I can definitely applaud that. And I do like this body shape. This gold mist looks fantastic in satin. The originals were gloss. I probably would have liked to see gloss, but satin does provide a great playing experience. So let's get the strings out of the way and get some measurements. I gotta tell you, it's actually pretty cool. Let's get these strings out of the way. Got the step tailpiece. The original also had a really wild bridge that actually had different configurations where you could angle the bridge. This is just going to be a straightforward Nashville style bridge. So for simplicity, I think they took away some of the experimental elements of the original, but I'm not necessarily upset about that because I think this is more straightforward from a playing standpoint. Let's get a measurement on this neck. Pretty wide, 1.71 inches at the nut. First fret of 0.81 inches, up to 0.91 inches at the 12th. Contoured mahogany body, kind of has a Batman look to it, 1.54 inches thick. The big difference, the step up to the $24.99 version is you're going to have a maple cap and a flamed maple cap, and you're also going to have a gloss finish instead of satin. Let's flip over these humbuckers and take a look. Rhythm 80s in neck, slightly longer neck tenon to support probably this extended neck. You need a little bit more support from the tenon itself. And then flipping over the bridge pickup, you got a lead 80s here. Now you can see the raw mahogany here, and this is a big, big difference from the original as well. In the early 80s, it was an all maple neck guitar, so they went with standard mahogany here instead. If you're seeing a theme here, it's that this really has very little to do with the original Victories, apart from, like I said, the body shape, not the headstock shape, and the attributes of being able to split the pickups. But apart from that, it's been basically totally modernized and reimagined. Let's go ahead and pick up this control cavity cover. And you can see everything is wired straight here. You actually have these little mini pots, well, the tall ones to accommodate the splitting, push-pull.
Pretty clean under the hood.
Pretty clean under the hood. Flipping on the multimeter, we get a reading on these humbuckers. We are a hot 15.9, so 80s tribute pickups, much hotter. 15.9 in bridge, 7.2 in neck. 5.0 combined, and let's see if this is a true coil split. So we've got 15.9, yeah, splitting to 8. So this is a true coil split. And then, like I said, this other one is choosing which one of the coils when activating the split you'll be using. That won't have any difference on the multimeter. All right, well, as you can see, all the electronics are on the front, so there's nothing on the back. Let's go ahead and get a weight. 6 pounds, 15 ounces, nice and light. We'll call it 6.9 pounds. That Explorer headstock was definitely the right choice on this. I think that looks great. Flipping it around for initial reaction, I always like a satin finish. It does feel really nice for playability. Strong resonance in this guitar. It's got that kind of shaking resonance you can really feel in your hand. So I'm really excited to plug it in. If you are in the market for this guitar or any other gear, click to buy new gear using our link. You'll get fast free shipping, easy payment plans. And it really helps us, so check that out, pinned in the comments or down in the description. Let's get plugged in. I'm gonna show you clean tones, we'll dirty it up, and then I'll let it scream behind a track and go as 80s style as we can today. On the other side of that, I'll give you my honest reaction playing this guitar along with a final score. So drop a comment as we go. See you on the other side. Let's get to work. All right, what did you think? You stuck with me to the end, so I'm gonna give you my raw reaction and final score. I based that final score on 3 categories: overall playability, overall sound, and overall value. Let's talk playability, but first, if you're in the market for this guitar or any other gear, if I've inspired you to buy this, or inspired you to buy something else, buy whatever it is using our link. You'll find that pinned in the comments or down in the description. All right, let's talk playability. First of all, it's a 24 fret guitar with lots of access to the upper fretwork and a bound ebony board. The ebony feels fantastic. The cutaways do allow you to get all the way up there. If you're not used to playing a 24 fret guitar, I do not typically play a 24 fret guitar. It takes some getting used to, but I would tell you nothing about this guitar got in the way. It's very well balanced. But let's talk about the controls and switching from a playability standpoint, okay? Also, I will throw in there that the lightweight, I mean 6.9 pounds, it's hard to beat that, and it just feels very comfortable. But let's talk about these controls. It gives you so many options with the push-pulls. But the thing is, executing those options are somewhat difficult with the push-pull. The knobs that they chose are practically flush to the pickguard, which means I need to get my nails, I mean, I guess I could adjust where the knob is, but from the factory, I need to like get my nails under that to really be able to push and pull. Whereas the original guitar for the coil split actually had a mini toggle switch. And what I think would have been really cool is if they executed these switching options but left the idea of the mini toggle switch so that I could quickly throw a toggle switch down here to select what I wanted, because I can hear sonically, I can definitely hear those tonal palettes, and I really do like them. These 80s tribute humbuckers sound fantastic. I'll get to sound in a second. Playability, really, it's just the difficulty of executing the switch maneuvers. I'd say that detracts from it. The overall construction of the guitar, the satin feel, everything else feels fantastic. Because of the limitations of that switching and the difficulty in executing, I'm gonna go ahead and give it an 8.5 in overall playability. Sounds were a knockout. We went through a JCM Marshall, this time a JCM 800. And I'll tell you what, the guitar sounded fantastic, and these were definitely the right humbucker choices for this guitar. Hearing the difference sonically of when not only I split the coils, but then flipped which coil was engaged, I could definitely appreciate that. And I'm not somebody who likes a lot of switching options in a guitar, but I like that conceptually they kept it pretty simple with the push-pull. It's just hard to execute, so they really do need those toggles, I think. The sound from the guitar, even unplugged, this guitar just resonates and sings and sounds fantastic. Very impressed by the sounds of this guitar. I will give it a 9.2 on overall sounds. When it comes to overall value, if you like the idea of the satin finish with the humbuckers and a contoured slim mahogany body, you should also check out the Les Paul Modern Light, like I talked about a little bit before. That's at $14.99, so the extra $500 here is gonna be because you want that beautiful hardshell case, you want an ebony fretboard with 24 frets, and that extreme fret access and all the switching capabilities. Apart from that, you can save $500 and check out the Modern Light, which has a similar kind of vibe and feel and also sounded great in my opinion. I will say though, they are delivering at $2,000 something uniquely different and executed different from the remainder of the Gibson range. And I do like this double cutaway. The idea of having a 24 fret with these powerful 80s tribute humbuckers and these switching options is definitely appealing. And the playability from just a guitar standpoint is fantastic. Overall value at $2,000 for this version, we'll go ahead and give that an 8.6 on overall value. That's gonna bring us to an overall score of 8.8 for the new Victory from Gibson. This is the satin finish model. Tell me what you think down in the comments. Remember to click to buy new gear using our link. You'll find that down below. Until next time for Plain Trade Guitars, I'm John, that's Zach behind the camera. See you next time.